Hello everyone, welcome, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make use of the Chimera program I built. Now Chimera is a program that allows you to inject a code into a Linux F binary. Alright, so you can get this Chimera from my GitHub repository, github.com/hotrest. So I'm going to open up my terminal here, and this is the directory for Chimera. You can see the Chimera here, right? Chimera.c, and I have it here. Chimera.c, I have the source code here. Alright, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to make use of the Linux ls command we're going to inject a code into the Linux ls command. You can also make use of the Linux date command or any command at all. Alright, so what I'm going to do now, I've already compiled this chimera.c into this executable here, finject.o. Alright, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to make a copy of the Linux ls command. I'm going to copy it to this our directory here, and we have it here, right? Okay, so we are going to read the executable header of this Linux ls command. So alright, so this is the executable header, right? And we have the entry point address here at 0x62E0. Alright, so we are also going to read the section. Alright, so we have the section here, right? Now this is the section or the section header for the Linux ls command. We can see all the standard sections that are supposed to exist in a Linux F file, right? You can see them here. Alright, so we are going to inject our code. We're going to override the pt note segment here. We're going to override this, and we are going to rename this to our injected code section. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to run. If you run Chimera like this, it's going to show you how to use it. So first of all, we have the file to inject. Sorry, this is it over here. We have the F file, and then the file to inject, and then we have the section name, which I'm going to give the section for the injected code, then the address, and then the entry point. Alright, also what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you the code we are going to inject. So we're going to inject this assembly program here. It's just a TCP socket client. It's going to connect to a running server via port 8080, and it's going to send this message, hello from John Doe, smiles. Now this is a server that this TCP client will connect to. Now take for instance, you have this server running elsewhere, like in the attacker's machine, like somewhere sitting in the sitting somewhere in the world in the attacker's machine, and our code here is going to inject this TCP socket client into the ls command, so that whenever a user runs the ls command, then we are going to, like, the user system will connect to this server program running somewhere in the world, that is on the attacker's machine, right? And we can also tweak this TCP socket client to be able to send the content of a file in the directory to the attacker. So I'm going to show you that. Okay, I have it here, shellcode2.asm. I just named it like that. So we have this one here. I built this assembly program. Now what it does is this: it sends a file. It sends the content of a file known as file.test in the user's current directory where the ls command is being executed. It sends it to this server program here. But for simplicity, we are going to make use of this one here, tcp sock client.asm. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to compile this tcp sock client.asm first. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is nothing bin what's the name again, tcp, no, let me just name it tcp bin, and then we have .asm. Alright, so I have it compiled here. Where is it? This is it, tcp sock client.bin. This is the code we are going to inject into this benign ls command we copied. Alright, so I'm going to run this now. So let's see. Okay, so this is the usage. So the f file, which is lx, and then the file to inject, which is the tcp sock client.bin, right? and then we have the section name. Let's just call this .chimera, and then the address, let's call the 0x7123455. All right, so we're going to give this -1. Now a -1 here means if you don't need an entry point to be set. Now we don't need an entry point to be set in the F file, so we are going to use, that is, we're going to manually edit the entry point by ourselves using hex edit. All right, so let's go on. So I'm going to run this. So we got this segmentation fault, ls this that, don't worry about that. So let's see if we're successful with this. So I'm going to read the ls to see if our, yeah, so we're successful. We have our Chimera program here, so our Chimera section here, and then we have the address 700F50. You can see that there was an alignment here because from the input we gave it 0x7123455, right? So there was an adjustment here, so we have 700 F50. All right, so what we're going to do now is for we to be able to inject this, for we to be able to run our code successfully, this injected code here, so that it can connect to our server program, I'm going to split this vertically. So I'm going to run the server here. All right, so server is listening on port 8080, right? So right now, for we to be able to connect to this server here, we are going to do some manual modification here. So first of all, what we're going to do now is we are going to override the got entry in this LX program here, this program where we injected our code. So this got entry is a global offset table that is used for dynamic resolution of function like library calls whenever a program is running. All right, so what we're going to do here now is let's look for a program. I'm going to make you, okay, let's disassemble it. So I'm going to use the Intel syntax, ls. So I'm going to override the fwrite function. All right, so we have it here, fwrite unlock at what plt. We have it at address 4500, right? Okay, address 4500. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to disassemble this again. I'm sorry for that. Intel. All right. No input file. All right, so let's look for the address 4500 where the fwrite unlock function exists. Now you can decide to override any function call in these got entries, but I chose fwrite, so we're going to look for that. I'm scrolling up and this is kind of slow, but don't worry, in a couple of seconds we'll be done with that. So we're already in address 5000, or I think 50,000, right? So I'm going up, yep, 4500 4500. So moving up. All right, we have it here. Yeah, we have it here, fwrite unlock 4500. All right, so this starts at address 26268, right? 26268. So let's dump that. What is that? What section is that? .got ls. All right. All right, we have it here, object done section. We have, no, we've not gotten there now, so I'm going to, let's use let's read it using this .got, right? All right, okay, so I don't have it yet, so I'm going to dump it again. All right, so let's .go.plt ls. All right, so my mistake was I made this of .got only. That was the reason we didn't get the full address like where we are looking for. So I changed it to .go.plt. PLT stands for procedure linkage table and .go stands for global offset table. All right, so I'm not going to go into details about this. So the main purpose of this video is to show you how to make use of the Chimera, right? All right, so we got the address of fwrite as 2628, right? 26268. All right, so this is it, 26268. Now we have here 0645000. So we're going to override this address with that of our Chimera. Remember our Chimera address. I'm going to open a new window here and show you that. So our Chimera address, is this Chimera? Yeah. So here 700 F50, right? 700 F50. So we're going to replace that here. We're going to replace 0645000 with 700 F50, right? Let me check that again. 700 F50. All right, 700 F50. All right, so we're going to make use of hex edit. Okay, hex edit LX. So I'm going to look for that address 0645123, right? All right, so we have it here. What I'm going to do now is we're going to replace it with 700 F50, and that 700 F50 is the starting address of our Chimera injected section. So we are going to make here 0f. We're going to use little endian format. Now if you check this, we have 70, 0f and 50. So we stand for 700f 50. All right, so I'm going to control S this. Why? I'm going to save it and I'm going to exit. Now let's read this again to see if our changes were implemented successfully. So .go.plt and ls. All right, so we're going to look for 26268 262. Yeah, so our changes took effect here. So 700 500 F70, right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to run this program now to see. All right, so we've connected to how do I call it, to our server here. So server listening on port 8080, client connected, client, message sent to client. All right, so that is how to make use of Chimera. Thank you for watching.